Hey, I'm Bob. I've been totally blind since birth, and I'm into He-Man. We're talking about He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the Netflix streaming TV series. We're on episode 3, The Heirs of Grayskull. Spoilers ahead, so watch the episode before listening to everything I enjoyed about the episode. And with that being said, let's get into this thing. So I like the opening scene. We are presented with the heirs of Grayskull. I like how Keldor is attempting to manipulate the situation. He is trying to just glean the information he needs from his nephew, and he's got no use for him after that. And I also liked that Adam's allies are not a gullible group at all. They do not trust Keldor, and as well they should not, as a wise green little Jedi Master would probably say if he was in this universe. So I mean, we see how different Adam and Keldor are from each other. Keldor's just loving the idea that they are heirs of Grayskull. He loves the idea of ruling, of having people beneath him, and he reveals to Adam that he is the son of King Randor. His father's a king, and Adam just laughs it off. He's got no desire to wield the power. He wants to be equal with his family. He wants to fight with them. He wants to fight for them. He just wants to belong. He doesn't want to be over anybody. But then you see Keldor, and I mean, he's just ready to kill his own nephew once he has the information. And that's exactly what he tries to do once he learns that Adam can't use the sword. He can't transform the swords out of juice. He just tells Evelyn and Cronus, who are wielding this rocket launcher out of sight. He sounds like Sideshow Bob. I definitely thought of Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons when Keldor was like, "You may explode them now." And then, of course, the rocks are all brought down on our allies. I think Cringer and Duncan are they're above the rock slide. So I mean, they're trying to figure out how to get everyone out. And you know, Keldor, he grabs the sword amidst all the havoc that he's unleashed. He actually blasts his own nephew with the havoc staff, or scepter, as I guess we should call it. And he's off to Grayskull with his minions, with Evelyn and Cronus. So the first 10 or 12 minutes, I like the differences we get to see between the protagonists and the antagonists, because we really see Adam's group, and they're trusting each other with their lives as they're trying to get out from under the weight of all the rocks. Tila is really using everything she knows, all the magic that she knows, in order to keep the rocks from crushing everybody. Crass is inside the ship, and she starts to freak out. We hear her asking Adam, please don't tell me this is going to be like the crash. It feels just like the crash, and Tila's not sure what's going on, and Adam lets us all know that Crass was in a horrible accident and she lost her parents. The only reason why she survived was because she was wearing her dad's helmet. And of course, if you're in a similar situation, you're probably going to have flashbacks, and she's just hanging in there. She's a very strong female character, but at the same time, I really like that she has no problems admitting that she's not doing so hot, that she is afraid, and nobody around her faults her for that. Adam doesn't chide her for it. Tila, doesn't mock her for it. I think a sign of true strength, no matter what gender you are, is when you're in a situation and you're not putting a happy face on it. If you're struggling with something, I think it takes a really strong person to say, I'm not having a good day. I'm terrified of this and that. I'm not doing too hot. And I mean, that's what Crass does. But she's still hanging in there, and she's trying to withstand everything that she's having to face. And she's alone in this ship, but at the same time, she's got friends out there, and they've got her back. And then we get to see Duncan. He's working some more of his techno mojo, and he makes this makeshift claw assembly for Cringer, so Cringer can start moving rocks out of the way. And then, of course, everyone gets the ship out, and they all get aboard, and they head to Grayskull. But then, in the meantime, we get to see Evelyn and Cronus and Keldor, and even though these guys are together, well, Evelyn and Cronus don't trust Keldor, and he actually commends them for not trusting him at all. We see Adam and his allies, and they are becoming a very close-knit family. But at the same time, when Cronus mentions going to the vocational orphanage, or Evelyn, she mentions the orphanage. Cronus is wanting an apprentice from there, I take it. Keldor actually mocks them and teases them, chides them for trying to start a family after he's been gone for about a decade. And he's told by Cronus that they don't trust him, and he's fine with that. So you see what kind of a man Keldor is. He's perfectly fine with his minions not trusting him. I guess he probably thinks that deception keeps everyone on their toes, keeps them sharp. If they're always worried about being stabbed in the back, it's going to make them stronger, and he's good with that. So when they all get to Grayskull, they're just waiting for Adam and his allies to show up. And Keldor really wants that sword to reactivate things in Grayskull. And when the main protagonists get to Grayskull, I like how Teela just takes to her surroundings. She has dreamed of this place for years now, I guess. And she just starts working her magic. She unleashes this orb, and it leads her to the statue of the former guardian. It's a really awesome scene. I like the vocals that we get to hear during the scene when we get to see the orb from Teela. It makes its way to the sorceress, to her fallen staff, and then she takes the staff up, but at the same time we get to hear these beautiful vocals. I don't know if it's computer generated or done by an actual singer, but it's a really beautiful piece as we get to see Teela taking up the mantle of the sorceress, I guess. And so we get to see this flashback as Teela is learning the ropes of her magic. She kind of activates this recording of that night 10 years ago. And we get to see a young Adam. He's threatening, or he is being threatened rather, by Keldor. And we get to see how he was afflicted with the Blight of Havoc. He's given the choice to wield either the Power Sword or the Havoc Scepter or Staff. And Keldor just snubs his nose at the sword because he feels like this kind of a weapon is wielded by those who serve, who would be under him. And he doesn't want that. He thinks the scepter is a totem to be wielded by those who wield power, who rule over other people. And so naturally, he's going to go for that scepter. And he doesn't even hesitate. He just grabs it. And then the sorceress, I like how she basically tells him, all right, then take the scepter, and you're gonna get that which you deserve. And that's when we get to see him in obvious pain. And then once he's grabbing that staff or scepter, after he's done screaming and writhing in pain, that hand of his is bony, and he is extremely ticked off at the sorceress, and he's going to kill her. But then Adam, little, I would say 8, 9, 10-year-old Adam, he grabs the sword, and he isn't trying to rule. He's trying to save the life of a woman he probably doesn't even know. And I love Keldor's line, and he's like, "Oh, really? This kid? In what world does this boy get to wield this kind of power?" And of course, since we got the Masterverse now, we've seen like 5 or 6 different He-Mans by 2021, 2022. I'm thinking, all of them. And it's such a great scene. And Sorceress tells us that a champion is someone who stands up for those who can't defend themselves. And then we get to see Adam in the present after everyone gets done watching this, and he transforms into He-Man, and that's when, of course, Keldor comes out, and he's just been waiting for this, and he just starts wailing on his own nephew. He's punching him. I think he kicks Adam's legs out from under him, and he is just infuriated that he's dying and he needs to be cured. And he's threatening all of the main protagonists. He basically tells Adam, if you don't cure me, if you don't reactivate the castle and its chamber here, I'm going to turn everybody into monsters just like me. And what a fantastic way to end the episode. It's of course another cliffhanger, and it felt like one of those G.I. Joe miniseries. Well, all of these episodes do in a way. It's very serialized. Although we don't see some kind of a device that's split up into 4 or 5 different pieces and scattered around the globe. But it's still got some great cliffhangers at the end of each episode. So I guess we'll be talking about, what's the next episode called? The Champions of Grayskull, I believe, in our next video. So it was a fantastic 3rd episode to the show. I loved seeing such a difference between our protagonists and antagonists in terms of, one becoming a close-knit family and the other group, our main antagonists, just out to deceive each other, out for power. And I think that was the main thing I took away from this episode. I love that flashback with Keldor grabbing the staff and us getting to see how he started to become Skeletor. Can't wait to see the next episode. I love the villains in all of the incarnations of He-Man. I think I still do really love the Masters more than the bad guys, but you gotta hand it to the writers. I don't think I've ever met a Skeletor I haven't instantly just been wowed by. Gotta love the bad guys too. So that'll do. And I guess I'll hear you guys in the next video. Have a great day.